I'm Harry Klugel. I'm a retired teacher from Montgomery County. I initially taught social studies and then later moved over to special education. What led me to go to Selma was that I had made friends with a minister at All Souls Unitarian Church in D.C., and he had gone at the invitation of Dr. King, as well as a lot of other northern ministers, went to Selma in support of his movement and was literally killed there. He and some other ministers went to a restaurant in Selma. This was before the march one night, and coming out of the restaurant were approached by a group of people with basically baseball bats, and he was bludgeoned to death. And it had a real impact on me. And there were 8 of us who decided that we would get on one of these freedom trains that was going south. So I went back to my principal and I said to him, I'm going to need a little longer time off this time because I want to go to Selma and join the march that's going from Selma to Montgomery. But what really surprised me was that a little bit later he came to me before I left to go on the march with a letter from the superintendent in Montgomery County that I should consider myself as representing the Montgomery County school system, which I thought was a big deal. Montgomery County had only been integrated for about 11 years at that point. The cost of the trip to each of us was $50, as I remember, which was a good bit of money in those days. This is a picture of the Freedom trains at Union Station and the crowd of people the day that we went who were waiting to get onto the train. The train was literally filled with people, mostly from Washington. As we went through the South, at certain points we were told to get on the floor of the train because other trains that had gone through on the way to Montgomery had been shot at. You felt very unsafe because by that point President Johnson had nationalized the National Guard in Alabama, and they were guarding the march. So as you were marching down this highway, on either side were National Guardsmen. I was further back in the march, and you could go up to the front and talk to people, and he was leading the march. So I went up to the front of the march and introduced myself and shook his hand. His wife was there as well. And Dr. Abernathy, as I remember, was at the head of the march at that point as well. One of the things we had decided, because we had heard from contacts of some of our ministers with the churches in Alabama, was that one of the things that the kids there wanted were flags, American flags. They said their classrooms did not have American flags. Well, that was kind of strange, I thought, but my group of 8 took 50 flags with us, and we gave them to students. And each student that I gave flags to and that other people gave flags to, we gave them our addresses and they gave us theirs. And I brought all of those names back, which was probably about 40 or 50 names, and I had kids in my classes write to them. After the march, there was a push for everybody to get back to your buses and get to your trains. We were actually on the train to come home the evening after that the march reached Montgomery. So it was late in the day, and we were back in Washington the next morning. And of course, we all had lots to talk about. I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine.